Hi everyone. I've not posted content during the month of June simply because the recovery from surgery has been using up all my energy. And in fact, I've only had 2 decent days this month. It's been more hard than I had expected. And posting on YouTube just didn't make it to the top of the list. I wanted to spend a few minutes right now sharing what I've been working on and a bit more of what's transpiring with my healthcare treatment. I'll start with what I've been working on first. I've added another section to my website. It's what I did with the bit of strength I have had. What I've created is called Hope is Found, and it's changing a weekly answer. I'll put the link for this down in the description. So I've set this to rotate every Thursday evening in Eastern time zone or at midnight UTC, essentially London, England's time zone. I've been thinking about different things that have kept me motivated during this because my body's just been so weak. What I want to do and go back through most of the self-help material that I prepared is adding in application questions so someone could take what I have on there and sort of bridge the gap between making meaningful change in life. There's a fair amount of work to do this, and I'm certainly not up to it right now, but sort of what's percolating in my head right now. I have a project binder here actually. It's just sitting beside me, and it's where I keep my different ideas that I have for my website. And I've got about 40 of them in there right now. But what makes the most sense to me is going back and adding application to life questions to make the content help people make meaningful change, or returning to the internet for sort of anonymous help. In terms of my own health, the healing from the surgery is obviously not going to be normal for the rest of it. So there was fluid coming out of my left hip for 7.5 weeks. That had stopped, but it started again, kind of like a pressure relief valve on either a hot water tank or a pressure cooker, or for those of you who have an Instapot, the incision's opening up periodically. Very little fluid's actually coming out, but it's been taking the pressure off of it. Just before this, I've been having a lot of trouble moving my left hip. I'm pretty sure it's pushing on a nerve. It's uncomfortable. But there's sort of healing pain and hurtful pain, and this lands on the healing pain side of things. I have set things in motion now to discuss draining my hip with my surgeon. There is risk involved in this, and it's not ideal. But what I'm reading is when you get into what I'm now dealing with, the pros outweigh the cons to proceed to do so. I had an appointment with my surgeon on June the 10th. He's agreed to replace my other artificial hip. It's been doing the same thing that my left hip had been doing to me until it was replaced in April. The hope for this is at the very end of summer, so sort of August 21st-ish. There's sort of two conditions on this. The first is that the left hip is strengthened and able to take the punishment for me learning how to walk again. I didn't find this hard following my left hip surgery in April. This hip surgery will be number 9. I'm used to having to get up and walk and put up with the pain that this creates in order to recover. So what I did in April that worked so well was getting the nurses to help me practice walking every few hours. And I was done using a walker and crutches just 9 days after surgery. And that's the best it's ever gone for me. I was really grateful for this. I don't have a hard time trusting the artificial hip, and although it's painful, it was significantly more painful before the hip joint was replaced. And it's kind of a walk in the park, if I can use a cliche. It does take an immense amount out of me, but putting on some quiet music kept me going throughout the process of getting the new hip started. So as I was saying initially, we need to get my left hip strengthened so it can take the punishment of this. The other part of this is that my blood pressure had been a problem when I was in the hospital in April. It was above normal, though I just had surgery. But I want time to try to help my heart get through another operation. So I've been doing seated cardio, and I am starting to make some gains. The problem that I have is the operation to replace my left hip, to the best that I'm able to tell, lasted 4 hours or just shy of 4 hours. And when an operation lasts more than 2 hours, they can't put fluid in your spine because it only lasts sort of the 2-hour mark. So I'm needing a general anesthetic and to be put onto a respirator to help me breathe. It's very oppressive. It's exceptionally hard on the body. So I wanted time, and I told the surgeon I do want time to get my heart in as best shape as possible to go through another operation this year. So I've got my 2 water bottles beside me, and as I get a little bit stronger, I'll try to post online with me doing it. For the most part, I'm doing or using them 3 or 4 times each day, and just slowly building up the number of repetitions. It's a little bit boring, but if you put a video on YouTube, the time passes, and it's not too big of a deal. This is one way of getting exercise while you're not able to walk a whole lot. At the moment, I've still been using frozen meals from the grocery store to eat. I have been choosing ones that are low in salt, sugar, and fat. It's not ideal, but in practical terms, it does take a lot of stress off my body. I just don't have the stamina in me right now to plan out the menus like I normally do, and then to be able to follow through in making the meals. I still have been buying stuff for salads, but it's amazed me just how tired that the operation I've had has made me, and the amount of effort it's taking to recover. The crux of the big problem I'm having is the number of times I was operated on where I was opened up on my left outer thigh. My surgeon during the April surgery massaged away the scar tissue, and it left healthy skin to heal, but the healthy skin healing is triggering a lot of plasma into my hip. Plasma is what brings the healing, and my body just needs time to work it out. This could last as much as a year, and there's no real way of knowing how long that my body will take for it. I'm just along for the ride. When I got into a lot of pain during the third week of June, I went to the emergency department of the hospital where I was operated on to ask for help. And they were very thorough. After all kinds of tests, what was left is that I'm into a lot of nerve pain. So the insides of me are healing, but I'm feeling it, and it hurts, and pain uses up energy. And no wonder I'm needing to rest a lot. I don't like this, but I'm not bothered by it. I kind of accept that I had surgery, and you need to be able to recover from it. I want to be doing more with my life when it's practical. I do have a bit of good news to share, though. I've been in touch with my disability caseworker, and if I need or want to use the train to get to the city where my surgeon is in, she's happy to reimburse me the costs of the train tickets. And I have done so, I think, 3 times now. The last was on June 26, and it's incredibly pretty between the city where I live and the city where my surgeon's at. And I'm really glad I did this for myself. Via Rail Canada has been truly wonderful. They have a ramp that I put my wheelchair onto, and then it raises me up to the train height, and I drive on, and there's designated areas on each train for wheelchairs to park into. That part of it's been really wonderful. It's about a 35-minute ride, although on June 26, we were halted because a freight train needed to go past us, and we had about a 20-minute break, waiting for this freight train to come and then get past us. But I really like it. I really enjoy being in nature, and it's been quite nice doing this. Some of the other stuff that's been going on in my life, I was out in mid-June, and I renewed my electricity subsidy for the next 5 years. One of the social agencies in town did this with me. I haven't yet filed my 2023 or 2024 income tax return. Those have now made it to the top of my to-do list next. And the woman that helped me was absolutely wonderful. I had to do it in person this time because they had to do income verification. Simply bringing one of my disability benefit stubs with me was all that needed to happen, and answer all the questions that go with it. I do have a bit of Gary the hamster news. He's absolutely amazed me. Gary has been changing his sleeping time, so he now is up with me in the mornings for about 3 hours. And this is extremely not typical of hamsters, but if they do get bonded with their owner, they'll start to switch off of sleeping strictly at night and try to spend more time with you. I have a CCTV camera set up so when Gary goes to a specific area of where he lives, I know it's him summoning me for food, and sometimes he just wants affection. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy this. It's nice giving my little man, little scratches behind his ear, and this particular hamster likes a neck pat. He doesn't like his head being touched. And he's been able to adjust and get used to the difficulties I've had reaching. It really has amazed me. There was one good day I had, and I don't know how he figured it out, but he went back to where he originally asked me for food. But then I wasn't feeling well on the day after that, and the second day after that. This was on June 17th and 18th, after I'd been to see the surgeon. The travel took a lot out of my body. And somehow he knew to come to the second spot, which has least bit of bending, for me to give him food. Really amazes me that he's been able to figure out how I'm doing when I'm not, he doesn't speak English. It's just amazing to me. I think the only thing to share is I've been trying to play a few computer games with friends in the evening. One of my friends online disappeared for several months. He messaged me before I had this most recent surgery, and we started playing again. He had cancer, and he's been really supportive and good to talk to, and he understands about having surgery and how draining it can be. So I haven't been feeling alone while I've been going through all this. It's just taken an awful lot out of me. I kind of think that's all I've got to say right now. I am sorry I've not got more content online, but I have to get the strength back in my body first. Maybe I could explain it in the way that you'd understand by saying, when I go to bed and wake up again, I'm not automatically feeling rested and restored. That's probably been the hardest part about this operation. However, I've done this so many times, I know it will come back. It just takes an awful lot. Okay, I hope each of you are doing well. Thank you for the time that you spent watching this video today. Bye for now.